Welcome back everybody to the 2x72 inch pellet sander. We are currently on part 6 where we're going to be talking about the table today. This table functions as a work table that you can push your parts up against so that you can sand it with the belt. So my intention for the table was to have one of these smaller pieces go inside one of the bigger pieces, and then the table to be on the smaller piece so it can go up and down. But this is really loose, so I'm thinking I'm either going to take one of these bigger pieces or smaller pieces and make that the inside, and then for the outside I'm going to cut a couple pieces of this and then just form it on the outside and then weld it so I can have a nice tight fit with it instead of just trying to make this work, because it's kind of doesn't fit very well. So I think that's what I'm gonna have to do with this. So for the table, after I cut out the sheet, I'm gonna then make this cut so that it can be inserted into the grinder arm, so that I'll have a little bit of an edge on the left and right, and eventually it will mount to this point here, so it's gonna look like this. Now the table is cut out and it goes on the grinder like this, and so this is in the vertical position, and then if you imagine this whole thing flipped over, this table will come out. I just have it stuck in there right now. Table will come out, flip over, and then go like that now. So now I already drew on the center point of, from here to here is the same length, and then from here to here is where it lines up along this beam. So if you see like this, and then this should be about right there. So that's how I'm gonna mount it, somewhere like right here, and then off of the bottom of this, basically weld, haven't decided which one, this one or this one, just like that. And then it's gonna have a couple inches, and then the whole thing is gonna go inside of like a holder so I can lift it up and down, and then have it tiltable as well. So for the table to slide up and down on, I'm basically gonna make something around this beam, and I'm gonna have it attached to the bottom beam that comes out, and then have a bolt that goes into it so I can slide it and turn it. So these are just gonna basically build around this like that. The bolt is gonna come through and be able to turn on the beam that comes out. So next, drill the holes, weld it together. This is gonna get welded to the table, and then once this is together, this is gonna get bolted to the actual machine. Alright, so I just welded up the table. Looks a little bit better than the welds I have been doing. So this table will, ooh, that's still pretty hot. So the table will go on here, and that's pretty hot. So table will go just like this, and then line up with that, and then it'll be held on by this bracket. So this is gonna go in here, and then these holes are gonna go just like this, so it can turn as well. And then, since this is really long, it'll be able to adjust up and down. And I just have to drill a hole right here, or here, or here. I haven't really decided. And then that is what is gonna fix the height of the table by screwing in that. Probably weld a nut right here so it fixes it in place. So I finished the table. Here it is. Basically, it's this. So I made this. I just welded together 4 pieces of the sheet I got, and then I welded a nut here and a bolt so I can adjust this up and down and fix it. And then there's a bolt here, and then a welded nut here so that I can adjust the angle. Even when it's tightened, it moves a little bit, which I think is fine. I gotta put like some force on it to move it. So that's what it basically comes down to, for my build at least. And then everything is just welded to the table. And then the table just gets inserted to the machine, just like that. And then if you want to adjust the table height, you just untighten the bolt that changes the height, and then you can make it go up or down. Just like that. And then just tighten it up again after you get the table height you want. And then same thing with the angle. You just untighten the angle bolt a little bit, and then you can set whatever angle you want, and then just tighten it back up so that it'll fix it in place. There you go. And then it also goes out and in, which is controlled by this right here. So once you fix this one, the table is fully on the machine. It's not going to move. So that's exactly what I wanted. Gives me a little bit of space here so I can push something up against it and sand it there. And then it's fully adjustable as well. So that turned out pretty good. So that concludes this episode. We talked about making the table. Hopefully that gave you a little insight into how it works and what I did to make it. I know I didn't record a bunch of action shots, but hopefully you get the idea. And next episode we are going to be moving on to the legs for the machine. So this is what's going to keep the belt sander standing up, and you're going to be able to turn it from horizontal to vertical